Boom.
All right, so this is just a fun little chart that I've been, kind of collecting data, just in Excel and kind of generating charts from it. And you can kind of see here, starting from the beginning here. Well, basically, I started at the last day, right? That you can actually mint the NFTs, because I want to track the record going forward. Once you can no longer be diluted, kind of watch the action that we see. And the pool size is one of it. So every time somebody burns their NFT, then the pool size goes down, right? And so everyone's kind of they now have a bigger share of the yield. So it's kind of interesting to watch that go down, and then you're going to see on the NFT size, this is going to really translate in some cool stuff, I think, down the road, because right now we're only seeing like the very small, tiny NFTs with just a few million points in it, right?
Yeah.
Getting burnt, probably just as like people testing it out or whatever, or maybe they decided for whatever reason they wanted to burn it. Who knows? But when it's a small NFT gets burnt, you will see the average NFT size go up, right? And then if somebody comes in and burns a large one at some point in time, we're going to see the average NFT size go down. So it's going to be interesting to see how that chart plays out over time. And then the last one is just like total number of WAATSas. And this chart will always only either go sideways or down, right? So hopefully, we'll be able to chart some cool stuff from this.
Does that, how do you think these, just give us like a landscape of the next few months, maybe towards the end of the year, what's going to happen in the next couple months, especially, we got the auctions coming up. We got bear market still raging. What are you have any predictions you're pretty confident in that's going to happen in the Icosa, Hedron, WAATSA ecosystem? You think a ton more stuff's going to be burned after we hit, end of the year? Like, what do you think?
I think the cool part about the ecosystem, especially with the HSI buybacks and the auction, is that we're going to see a scenario where the market can pretty much just go sideways. Like the overall market could go sideways, and we can see some awesome fundamentals in the system for Hex, for Hedron, and for Icosa. And one thing that people are starting to forget is that the big auction day or the big burn day, whatever you want to call it, that's just the beginning. That's not like a one and done deal. Like that, we will then every day, I predict, if not every day, nearly every day from then on out, we will see new HSIs hitting the auction that will then burn a ton of Hedron, that will then pay out real good yield in the Icosa staking pools. So
every day after the 90 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
Permanently.
And just like can you just like what does that do? What does it do for the ecosystem? What should we expect from that happening?
I mean, some of these guys, some of the streamer guys who are showing, their yield, and a lot of people on Twitter that are talking about their yield they're getting from their Icosa staking pools and even their Hedron staking pools, really. They're really talking it up. They're like, this is like really excellent yield. Like, it's pretty amazing. The percentages they're throwing around there are pretty outlandish, but even if you go the most conservative route, it's still pretty incredible returns. And I see this becoming a very popular method of staking and earning yield. Not to say that staking Hex is going to be inferior, because it's not. It's always going to be there, and it's going to be the engine that turns over the car and kind of keeps everything running.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you could go into one of these other pools and you don't have to stake 15 years to get the best yield, right? You can stake 1 year maximum if you have a bag big enough to stake. And then after that 1 year, you're just going to have nothing but flexibility. I think Sloth was poking at me a little bit to bring it up, but I think the champagne, the champagne waterfall method that I kind of coined and started talking about, I'm seeing a lot of on-chain data that suggests a lot of the bigger wallets are kind of following that route. That they're looking at it and they're like, yeah, do I really want just 2 stakes? Do I really want just my Icosa staking pool and my Hedron staking pool? Like, maybe I want to spread this out a little bit. Maybe I want to see what the price action is going to be in 6 months and not be waiting the full year, right? So maybe I will fill up several, dolphin class stakes with utilizing multiple wallets, and then I'll do some sharks, and then I'll put my big bag into one big whale, right? And there's going to be so many different techniques that everybody can utilize this system. There's going to be so many different techniques that people can use. And I think as time goes on, we're going to see a lot of people like kind of posting their strategies on like, what method or what staking strategy like works for them the best. So this system is very sticky. It's going to keep people around. People will always chase yield, and they will always look for the things that can keep their attention on a nearly day-to-day basis. And that's the kind of tokenomics you want in a system, like Hex got me really involved on a nearly day-to-day basis, even if it was just watching the yield come in, right? It's very powerful, and yield in and of itself is a very powerful mechanism. So I don't see this going anywhere but up in terms of popularity.